Jordan set the benchmark.
That's why I'm put him up there. I say he's number two.
Heck no.
If you had to name all the top 2 guards of all time, there wasn't in Jordan era.
You can't take away a person who had the scorers title, MVP, and won Defensive Player of the Year.
LeBron did it too.
Not in one season.
Growing up, you liked Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd enjoyed passing. Jason Williams enjoyed passing. You wanted to be a guy who helped a guy get a bucket. I don't feel like there's too many guys out there that really enjoy it anymore.
Because they all want the glitz and glam.
When I was growing up, I've never heard anyone like they didn't want to be actors. What inspired that for you?
It started off with an infatuation of wanting to be on TV. I also let the environment kind of dictate how I navigated. The stigma we had was it was soft. I'm not going back to Chicago. How do I make this work? I got into some trouble before moving here.
What kind of trouble?
Back in Illinois, I was selling marijuana.
Right.
And I got caught. You know, back when we was growing up, they corrected you, but they corrected you demeaning. Like they talked down on you, and that was loud. That was the heightened part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they never celebrated us in the sense of, oh, you doing it right. So now that clicks because
part of it too. Like I always try to give people like the grace, right? Like when I was growing up, it was the neighborhood guys who was my coaches, the former drug dealers and whatnot was my coaches. They didn't know better either.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So they was kind of winging it as well. Like you got to remember, like they coming from a place that was like where very minimum opportunity.
Yeah.
And very strict.
Yeah.
And my mentors growing up, they was trying to save us from the streets.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, they wasn't preparing us for college basketball. They was only coaching us so we don't get in trouble.
Right.
And the best way I think they were trying to do it was let us know, like, yo, you playing soft, like just trying to use basketball as a tool to be tough for the real world.
Well, they was teaching us the way. It's just like parenting, right? If you don't know better, the best you have is what you know, right? So when you parent or when you pass down whatever information that is, you're passing down the best that you know,
right? And
sometimes the best as you know it's a ceiling.
All right, guys, welcome back to another show on Score Society channel. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. We want to keep boosting the channel so we can get amazing guests, and of course, today is nothing short of that. I got my man here, talented actor, talented. I mean, he's been in commercials, McDonald's commercials, Bank of America, CSI, SWAT.
Yeah.
Nominated for Best Supported Male Color Actor, right? Am I right?
Yeah, for the NAACP.
There you go. Yeah. And now on a hit show called Cross.
Yeah.
Comes second season, November 14th. Please welcome Ban Paul.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro, man. We had a great conversation before we started.
Yeah.
You know, me and you go back.
Yes.
I seen you a couple of days ago. We watched some talented high school athletes play. What you think of the games?
Oh, man, like I told you earlier, is that, man, these kids are huge.
Yeah.
Pause. But, yeah, but these...
I'm glad you're doing the pause thing. You said a couple things earlier that I wanted to pause, but I was like, maybe he don't play the pause.
Yeah, I don't, but, you know, now that I know you got these cameras on, I can't let nobody jam me up when I see them. But, yeah, man, these kids are talented, like I told you. The size is tremendous. Like you can find you a 6'8" wing now, not in high school. Yep. Not a 6'8" center when we was playing.
Some of them sophomores.
But you get what I'm saying? The athletic ability is crazy, you know. So I mean I enjoy it. I'm always looking to see, you know, who's ahead of their time as far as like being leaders. Who's the alpha? Who's the guy? Who's the Swiss Army knife? You know, who's the guys that's gonna shake things up? Who's the guy that's like, man, let's keep it going? And then I also look at the bench, because now I'm looking at it from a coach's aspect now. You know what I'm saying? And also being a point guard myself, you know, you play with me. I'm always happy with assists. I love seeing everybody else win or succeed. So I'm always looking at it. Now I'm looking at it from the aspect of a coach, like who's on the bench, what that guy doing.
I feel like the kids don't like that anymore. Like when I growing up, you like Jason Kidd.
Like I grew up growing up, Rod Strickland and Kenny Anderson was my two top guys. You know what I'm saying? Or Damon Stoudemire, and then of course AI came along. You know what I'm saying? But you can't never take away Jordan as being my GOAT. But I love seeing like everybody succeed. That's how I am off the court too, though. So you know what I'm saying. So it's part of my personality. But yeah, that has been lost because everybody wants to score the basketball. Everybody want to score the basketball, and you don't have those guys. I say this to this day right now. My favorite player to watch in the NBA, and it throw everybody off for a loop, is T.J. McConnell. I like seeing T.J. McConnell, bro.
It don't throw me off that he's a good player, but definitely you don't expect that name.
Yeah.
I think if kids actually, if you was a kid right now and you want to be seen, be known for your passing abilities.
Yeah.
Like, because everyone known for the scoring ability. Everybody known for the shifty abilities.
Yeah.
But no one, like, I can't think of a kid off the top, or like I've seen a highlight film of a kid just giving out dimes.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's known
yeah,
for that.
sure, for
You
sure.
know what I mean?
I even say this to kids. I always be like, well, because everybody is training to put the basketball in the hoop, right?
Right.
Who's training to do the intangibles?
Yeah.
Who's saying I'm gonna stay in shape? So guess what? From the first quarter to the fourth quarter, I'm a guard full court. Not so I can steal a basketball.
This is one kid with his pop. They I don't know who they is, and we're gonna look him up, but he really be. They got videos of him just playing defense, like walking up the street playing like different.
Oh, that's cold.
I'm gonna send it to you.
That's cold.
He just
That's
playing
cold.
defense the whole
That's
time.
cold,
Like Buddy better never get his ass
Yeah,
busted.
that's
I
cold.
haven't seen
That's
him play.
cold. Because I mean, but listen though, I think why kids are scared to play defense because they scared to be embarrassed. It comes with the game.
Yeah.
Like you gonna get embarrassed. You're not gonna be able to lock everybody up, and you're gonna have some days where your legs may not be under you. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be days like that. It's okay though.
Yeah.
It's okay. As long as you get back up and you're like, no, I'm going back at him. I'm still gonna make it difficult. Now they shy away from it. They shy away from the smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like aside from TJ, I like Peyton Pritchard. I like
He's
Drew
good.
Holiday.
Like
Like those I like guys that play both ends,
Yeah.
right? But do the opposite. You start doing the things that's not as sexy,
Right.
so to speak. And that's guard full court with the intent to just slow the man down and to disrupt their offense, right? Stay in shape. Don't ever stop moving on offense. You know, be that guy that'll get out there for loose balls, that's gonna hustle, that's gonna give you a second possession. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I like those guys. I enjoy those guys. Every team need those guys. You know what I'm saying?
You'll go far. I think what kids fail to realize is that although you're good right now, right? Because when you're in high school and you're the best player, they want you to score. They want you to do those things.
Yeah.
But when you go to college, you're not going to be. I mean, unless you're really a standout player, that's not going to be your role. The role is going to be what you're talking about right here.
Yeah.
Being a guy diving for loose balls, being a guy being able to stay in front of players, full court, maybe in the defensive strategy. If you never been taught that, you're now learning that at 18, 19. You won't really get your chance to do the things you did in high school until your junior year.
Yeah.
But you from Southside Chicago.
Yup.
Yeah, man. So I've been to Chicago, haven't been to Southside. I mean, I heard a lot about Southside.
I'm from the Hunters.
Yeah, so I heard about the Hunters.
I'm from the Hunters, man.
I heard nothing good about it.
I'm from the Hunters.
I don't feel like I'm missing nothing by not visiting.
No,
but it sounds like a place like Philly. That's where I'm from.
Oh, yeah.
And so a tough inner city, but you found your way. Well, let's talk about acting first, because we're going to talk a lot about basketball. But that's when I was growing up in Philly, I've never heard anyone like say they want to be actors.
Yeah.
What made you get into that? Like what inspired that for you?
The funny thing about it is that I think it started off with an infatuation of wanting to be on TV, right? You know, obviously there wasn't no access to doing these things when I was growing up in Chicago. Obviously times has changed, but there was no access. But I always had the infatuation of being on TV. It just I had a broad imagination, and seeing like how things were portrayed or played out on TV, I was like, oh, I want to be on TV.
Right.
And it started off with that. And I was always kind of like, I had charisma. So, I can go anywhere. I could talk to anybody. I was never kind of like the shy guy. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like right up my alley as well. But I also, let the environment kind of dictate how I navigated. It wasn't cool, so I was never like trying to seek it either.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said it, because I think that's where we get up. us as guys who grew up in the inner city and kids who are growing up in the inner city, they may have a passion for what you're talking about, acting, maybe in culinary arts.
Yeah,
but because it's not cool, they don't want to do it.
Yeah, and then the stigma we had was it was soft.
Right.
So I definitely wasn't going to drive that force. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? When I grew up playing all the sports, I excelled, honestly, in baseball. Like, baseball was kind of my first sport before basketball became my thing. And then, you know, played football and all those things. But it wasn't liked. And it kind of gave you a certain personality around the guys. So I never looked for it, right? But as I got older and I started seeing things different, and just like why I even use basketball for my program as a tool is because sports take you so many different places and allow you to see so many different things that you didn't think was a reality for yourself, or it can be can happen. So as I got older, I seen that I could take the course in college, and I was like, I'll take it. But then when I got in there, I had to take theater. And so I had to like study theater, and that bored me. I was like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Right. So, but once I had the imagination, like, you know what, man, I'm moving to California. Like I knew that I was gonna try it when I got here. I didn't know how I was gonna get here.
So you had no acting,
man,
no acting, no experience before coming to LA.
Nope.
Oh wow.
I took it in class. Took it in class, but it wasn't like, I didn't get a chance to be up in front of cameras or anything like that.
What year you got to LA? What year
I got here 0304.
0304? Okay, you been here for a while.
Yeah. I'm 21 years in.
Yeah,
so,
bro.
but and shout out, and the funny thing to kind of bring this all kind of the story is, so I got here and my purpose was I was trying to transfer to a UC school, right? And I was able to come play at Santa Monica College. My coach there, Trevor Schickman, that's my guy to this day. He took a liking for me, and he knew what type of person I was immediately. And it was pretty kind of odd because I didn't really have males who followed through on their word or was willing to go out of their way to help me or give me access. And he was doing so. And I didn't even get to play for him because we played summer circuits and all these things, but I tore my knee. And once I tore my knee, I kind of lost my love for basketball, transferring from the school that I was at to try to come to SMC. And when I tore my knee, I was just thinking, like, I'm not going back to Chicago. How do I make this work? You know what I mean? And I told him what I really wanted to do, and because my plan was I wanted to walk on at LMU.
Quick question for you, but you can answer if you want. But what kind of trouble? Like, because I think that that's so we get into trouble in the inner city, and we think it's the end. You know
and I mean, in today's time, it was minor, but back in Illinois, I was selling marijuana, and I got caught. And when it happened, I had some choices to make. You know what I mean? I was able to get myself out of it, but it was at that point because my friendship that I had, he wasn't that type of guy, and he was with me at the time. And I never forget him saying this. This is my dog, Ray. This is one of my best friends growing up. And he was like, when I was released, he was like, "Hey, you a hooper or you a drug dealer?" And he was serious because that's not the type of trouble he liked to kind of be around. You know what I mean? And he asked me that, and he was like, "Man, bro, because I can't rock with you like that." Like, basically in a nutshell.
Because he was a hooper.
He was a hooper.
Okay.
But he was also a kid that was like, he got his work done. He was in school. I was kind of the one that was kind of like the loose cannon, you would call it, or whatever, the wild card. You know what I'm saying? And that crew of guys. And he didn't like that. And it struck me because that's somebody that I'm talking about. When I say we used to say we was twin brothers because of how we moved all the time, and we sharpened each other. Like, even today, that's who I was telling you that I was talking to about how we was in the gym all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So with he and I, man, we would fight. Like, we would fight in practice. We would push each other, and had to get back in the same car to go home together.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, definitely know what
You know
you're
what I
saying.
mean?
I got
Like,
a best friend like that
you
too.
can't do that with these kids nowadays.
No, not
but
at
he
all.
was one of them guys. Like we could go to blows. Like it's on,
Right.
and we have a whole silent car ride back to the crib, and then when we get out, one of us get out the car. It's like, all right, I'll see you in the morning.
So
You know what I mean?
So yeah, you got out here to LA.
Yup.
Appreciate the story. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You know, I think that's
I'm
important.
long-winded with my stories. I'm
No,
a bad
it's all
storyteller.
good,
I'm a
brother.
bad storyteller.
It's all good because I think that's important for kids to know because I don't want, you know, like someone to see this because it's for everyone. Like our audience is from 20 years old all the way to 60.
It's levels.
I want guys to know that, you know, when you get into trouble, you know, you got these signs like you have, like with your friend, like, yo, man, you got to pick one in life.
Yeah.
And you came over here to LA, and LA in your field is not easy.
Nope.
I dibbled and dabbled with it as an agent. Worked at ICM. Another one was called Across the Board, a small boutique agency. And that was my first time getting the opportunity to see what guys like you go through.
Yeah.
As far as like having to come in and audition and trip over something that's not there, cry about something that you don't care about.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. Guys, actors come in, they show their skill set, and the agents talk amongst each other like, oh, it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
You come into LA with no experience of being an actor. I'm pretty sure you had your challenges, ups and downs.
I'm still going through them.
And you could have easily reverted back to your comfort zone, which is your home. So without any not knowing that you would be where you are now, what kept you motivated?
I got a no quit attitude. Like, and that's what allowed me to be who I am today. And I don't quit. I can't. And I always think of this: if you don't quit, you know, success will find you.
Right.
You know what I mean? As long as you continue to put one foot in front of the other.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I teach the kids too, is resilience, right? Resilience is, not quitting, is always, pushing. And I wanted to. And then another part of wisdom that I garnered was is that anything you love or any relationship in any regards, whether it's your career, friendship, it's gonna test you. It's gonna put you through every emotion. You're gonna have to go through every emotion.
Yeah.
It's about how you respond to those things,
Absolutely.
right? Do you let it cave you in? Do you let it wipe you out? Or do you say to yourself like, nah, man, I'm seeking more. Like, nah, I ain't done enough. You know what I mean? And I have conversations sometimes because I want to do more, and I know there's more, especially my goals. In every aspect, whether it's life, career, my program. Like, it's goals I haven't reached, and I can't stop until I reach those goals. And that's my mindset. It's like, nah, because I've gone through it. Why did I go through it? I went through it so I can give up now, or did I go through it so I can learn and now be able to be that guy that can say, nah, if I'm giving you an advice, I'm giving you advice from what's been tattooed to me because I've gone through it, So it's the no quit.
You talk a lot about leadership in everything you're doing.
Yep.
So, and you're an actor. And, for me, as a guy who's just a fan of movies and shows, I'm realizing there's not a lot of hit shows with male leadership in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially black male leadership. And there's no offense to the women because I love to that they're getting their just due. But there's a lot of women bosses and everything. Women. Is this like a trend going on? How important is it to actually see, good representation of a male?
It's tricky. I'm gonna say it's tricky. Obviously for many reasons. What's the PC answer for this? Well, I mean, there's a trend in there. TV in general, or what you see, whether it's social media or not, it all has an agenda.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether it's to put something else out in the front and to give you more of give certain things more attention than others, but I can't. I'm not in those rooms, so I can't specifically tell you why it is. But I have a theory. You know what I'm saying? But my theory is probably better spoken privately.
Okay.
But but one thing for myself is that this is what we continue to push for, right? Is for whatever representation we want to represent.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not, you know, if someone else writes a script or writes something else for whatever representation they feel is needed to be in the forefront, you know, that's what's whatever led them to do so. You know, it's up to us to now, you know, represent or do those things, and whether it's on camera or off camera, you know what I'm saying, it's the lead. And that's why, you know, I'm not really on social media a lot, or, you know, all these other like platforms of things, because I'm like, I gotta be it.
Right.
I have to be it before, you know, I get to preaching it or saying it, you know what I'm saying? Because once you start, you know, speaking of these things, you know, you're gonna be tested. It's gonna be time for you to show and also be.
Right.
So, you know, I just tell myself to be it, like be the leader that you know, I wish I had, or the leader that I see we missing.
Right.
You know, we missing true leaders with genuine, you know, intentions, and you know, with the regards of empowering and uplifting others.
Right.
And that's what I'm embodying. I'm embodying that. And yeah, you can reach the masses through television, but you can reach the heart through connection.
Absolutely.
You get me?
Absolutely.
And that's how I'm moving. I'm like, you know what? I'm reaching each person that I connect with. They gonna feel it. They gonna feel not only the leadership aspect of it, but man, I'm a human being enjoying the human experience. Yeah. And I want to see you be better, whether it's me uplifting you in the moment or giving you something to take with you, you know, later on in life, whatever it is. I'm going to lift the room up. And it's not me coming in with this big jovial, you know, I'm going to be direct, and I'm going to be honest, and if I see something or emotion is inflicted, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to champion you. I'm not afraid to, you know, be that guy like, hey man, what you're doing is dope. Keep going, you know what I'm saying? And if I can support it in any way, I will. That's why we're here right now.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Like, because that's what that's what it looks like. That's what it should be. And I think we've gone, and I'm taking you way off of what we topic, but it's something that's on my mind. But is that society doesn't support that. Society doesn't support, you know, supporting each other, or, you know, empowering each other, or championing each other, or celebrating each other.
But you're not taking it off topic, because that's what the brand is about. Scorers Society is a mentality. Scorers is a mentality to go through what you go through ups and downs. You miss shots, keep shooting. Having a short term memory. Gotta have some type of leadership skills to be able to be a scorer. Right. And one thing about scorers, every time they have a good game, they say, I couldn't have did it without my team. So you saying you champion, or you saying that, you know, you supporting good things. We support each other, congratulate each other. That's not off topic at all.
And then another thing is like, when we say leaders, everybody think that there can only be one leader in the room. Leadership, or being a leader, is a mentality. It's not you know, one person isn't chosen to just be the leader. Right. Now we're formulating, you know, and structuring something, a foundation. We need to hear one voice, but everybody's voice counts. Right. But it's the collective voices that go into that one that makes it, you know, so we can all hear. But man, we all leaders. It's just about how you approach things, you know.
Is that what influenced your nonprofit, BAM, basketball and mentorship?
For sure.
Talk about it. Tell me what's your goal with that.
It's a passion of mine, first and foremost. It became a passion of mine because of my son. It started off with my son.
Justice.
Justice, man. He next up. That's my guy.
Man. Good kid, bro.
But it started off with him. I almost got emotional right now too, because I'm thinking so much more of like how it kind of came into my life. Right. When my son started playing basketball, I started taking him to the Y, and I started seeing that it wasn't real guys that knew basketball. It was just dads who was there to coach their sons. They wasn't coaching the team. Right. And that's what kind of led it. And then when I do something, I'm 100% in. I don't do it with just like, I do this for now because I want to get this out of it. It's like, no, I'm 100% in, and I'm going to give my all. And I start building the community. Like, you know, more and more kids that I was coaching, the parents start feeling my energy, and they start sticking with me, you know, and that kind of spiraled to me building a community, you know, to the point where it was parents who kids went to the same school that never spoke. But see, I like bridging the gap. So I make sure, hey, have you know such and such? Because they all good people, and
That's the power of basketball.
You know what I'm saying? We all want the best for our kids. So that became more. And then I struggled a bit trying to be dad and coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I started trying to figure that out. And one thing about me, when I'm hit with a challenge, I'm gonna go figure it out. Like, you know, it's just that's just me. Like, let me figure this out. I can't run from it, or I can't quit because I haven't mastered it. I haven't gotten it right. So I started realizing that, and I started pouring into these kids. I wasn't getting paid nothing. I started pouring into them. I started treating them like I was treating my son. You know what I'm saying? And I know how sensitive it is when you have other people's kids. Yeah. Because I'm Papa Bear, so I know that, and I wanted the parents all to know what my heart really was, and that I really cared when I spoke to their kids, and I wanted to see them grow, and it just started igniting the passion and the fire in me, and I'm like, dang. And I'm sitting with my wife one day, and I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, I was gonna do some training because I was doing it, and I'm trying to figure out what to name it. You know, I'm like, I just got to do something. Maybe I can get into these schools. You know, acting froze right now. Maybe I can get into these schools, and because I know I'm more valuable being around people and doing these things. And I'm like, damn. And she was like, I was like, what can I'm start thinking of what acronym I can use off my name, because, you know, that's the talking point when somebody asks me my name. I'm like, it's Bam, and it's my name. Right. It's my middle name, and I say that with pride because that name was given to me by my mom, my uncle, but it means much more, you know. Right. So I'm like, dang. And she like, why don't you just you love basketball, you always trying to teach, and she said basketball and mentor, and then we end up flipping it to basketball and mentorship.
You from Chicago, and Chicago got a lot of ballers.
Yeah, they do.
You got a lot of ballers.
Yeah, they do.
Give me your top 5 NBA Chicago guys who from Chicago went to the NBA.
Man, there's so many of them, bro. But I can only tell you from my experience and from my lens.
That's all I want,
right? Just from my lens. But there's so many guys that has done it in such a major way,
right?
And we you know, obviously, and I gotta keep him as number one. You know, he just retired, obviously. You know, D Rose. Yeah, D Rose, the energy.
Do you think D Rose is Hall of Fame?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well,
absolutely.
You said a lot of emphasis.
Yeah, you. I mean, well, you may take that as bias, but we can't take his body of work away, right? And
not at all.
And the impact he was for that organization during a rebuild. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like that impact, and also if we talking from a mentality standpoint, that's not easy to do, to come to be drafted by your hometown, not be distracted by, you know, being home, comfortable and those things, but you still put on for your city the way you did. That right there in its own.
Yeah, I think Derrick Rose should definitely be a Hall of Famer, but just on the impact alone.
Yeah.
When I say impact, I mean before him, it was only a few guards who were known for their bounce, right? Like you had the Baron Davis and everything else. Yeah. But Derrick Rose and started that Russell Westbrook era, that explosiveness as a
Dame Lillard,
as a guard. Dame Lillard, absolutely.
Those guys.
So I give it Derrick Rose. Yeah, who's your second?
See, you know, I'm a point guard guy, man, and he from my side, Tim Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway, yeah.
Tim Hardaway, you know, got Tim Hardaway, D Wade. I played D Wade in high school, and you and you seen it. Like, no lie, you seen it. Like,
I always talk about this. Like, when you play against NBA players, you realize, like, guys who actually make the NBA, you realize you ain't on another level. There's levels to shit.
It is levels to this. Like, they know when to turn it. They know how to turn it on, and it's super levels. And you seen that with D Wade. Right. Like, you seen it even in high school. You seen it. Like, and I always tell this funny story because, like, I think sophomore year, whatever, when we played, we was like the same height. And then like that following year or that summer or something, he like jumped, he grew, but you seen it in him. He like had this it. I don't know what that it was, but I seen it and was like he had that it. Right. You know, D Wade tough, and he got a different worth ethic that you know, a lot of guys from what we come from don't just have. Like it's innate in him. You know what I'm saying? So D Wade definitely, one of them guys. And then when we talk about like during our era of growing up, Q Rich was one of the guys too.
Tough.
He was one of the guys that was like, he from our area. That's he like family. So Q Rich was one of the guys that like put on when we talk about like high school basketball and brought like another scope to Chicago during that time. Who else can I put it in?
Yeah, you got one more.
When we talk about Hall of Fame, we talk about
Hall
like
of Fame, just top five Chicago guys went to the NBA.
It's different, bro. Like it's different, man, because there's so many guys I can run off of Will Bynum. Like
that's fine.
Like what I'm just saying.
I like Will Bynum. That's you talk about Will Bynum who went to Arizona first. And
He's tough. He was tough. I'm talking about guys that
I remember on high school prep.
Yeah, like Will Bynum was like he was a dog. Like it's so many dogs, and I don't want to just limit it to 5 because then now it's like, hey, bro, you don't know.
That is all good because it's my question. So
it's just hard for me to kind of like bottle that up because there's so many guys that have put in like body of work, through high school, and Chicago ain't an easy place to come out of. You know what I'm saying?
So I hear, man.
Like it's not an easy place to come out of, just like in that standpoint, but also in the place of like basketball. Like it's so many guys that stand out in the way Chicago guys play basketball. It's hard. It's hard nosed. So it's like, man, bro, you really gotta be one of them guys. Like you gotta really be one of them guys to really, push through those cracks, because this is cracks, bro. Like you gotta push through them cracks.
Absolutely.
So and there's so many guys who've done it in such a major way. So I don't want to slight anybody, you know what I'm saying? Man. So my whole shout out is to everybody from Chicago who like put on for us and really showed that, we could play the game, at a high level, Shout out to my brother Bobby Simmons too, man.
Oh, man. So top 5 NBA players right now.
Right now. That's playing?
That's playing right now.
Right now. Shucks. That's tough for me too. That's tough because so all right, I'm taking Ant-Man.
Okay.
I'm taking Ant-Man as one. And this is in no particular order, right? I'm taking Ant-Man. And I like what he brings to the game. He bring back that '90s style of basketball that we enjoyed, that early 2000s that we enjoyed, where it was like, man, bro, I don't care about having no friends. Like, bro, we in between these lines. Let's get it on. Yeah. I love watching him play any day of the week. I told you T.J. McConnell. Like, that's such a random like put in your files, but
I'm glad you're saying it because I want kids to really look at T.J. McConnell. He's really good. And he actually runs
T.J. McConnell, man.
He's a good floor general.
T.J. McConnell is one of my top guys to watch, bro. Like hands down. I like Drew Holiday. I love watching Drew Holiday play. I like Ja Morant. Kyrie obviously is one of my favorites too. Like today's Kyrie. It's like when he plays, it just seems like basketball is an art. In art form, you know what I'm saying? For somebody to kind of like improve as he's getting older, but does it at his own pace and speed, and have a counter for a counter. Like, sure.
You said Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, Hall of Famer. You got to think about that, and you didn't think about Rose. I thought you knew Rose is a bias.
Well, what I
Drew Holiday won 2 championships as a starting point guard.
Yeah. So this is what made me think about it, is that because he's being tucked. He's not a guy that you've had as a marquee player, right? In the sense of what I'm saying is, on the teams that he's won championship, he hasn't been a marquee guy, right?
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? And because of style of play, he can. Drew can give you 30 a night, but he's just a selfless guy. So I'm not to me, yes, a Hall of Famer, but when I'm thinking of consensus, then I'm like, will I give him his just due credit because he affect the game.
I'd be shocked. That'd be robbery.
Yeah,
those teams don't win without him.
He affect the game.
Yeah, like Milwaukee Bucks don't win without Drew Holiday.
He affect the game,
Celtics
man. I mean, if we pay attention to the nuances in the game, USA game, he was the reason why some of them
had some big shots.
But not even the shots. It was some hustle plays that he like the energy shifted, the momentum shifted back in the USA favor because of his activeness and his willingness to compete and not stop.
Right.
Man, I love seeing that, dog. I love when I say I love seeing that, man. I love that, bro. So yeah, I'm gonna give him his credit, man. He's Hall of Famer.
Top 5 all time.
Come on, man. Why are you doing this to me, dog?
We got to talk basketball. We got to.
Why are we doing this, man?
The people want to know.
But see,
they want to know Bam Hall.
But it's subjective. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
It's subjective. I just don't want to get into these battles or these debates. I'm going off the feeling that I had and the.
But that's exactly what I want. This is what Score Society is about: having your own opinion.
Yeah,
I get. You get kids who 14, like, who's the best point guard all time? Magic Johnson. Might be right, but you didn't see Magic Johnson. You didn't see the evolution of Magic Johnson. So how would you know that? How would you? You can't just go off of I'll watch ESPN Classics. You get what I'm saying? So like for me, I'm always say about favorite player is of all time is Allen Iverson. Because I had a chance to see the evolution. I grew my hair out, got braids because of Allen Iverson.
I thought I was out through and through.
I'm gonna say LeBron is the best ever because I watched the evolution of LeBron. I went to a high school game to see LeBron play.
You know, most guys who don't put Jordan on there is because Jordan either beat their teams up, you know what I mean? So there's this love-hate they have for MJ, and I think that's what you got right now.
No. I don't have a hate for Jordan at all. But listen, let's think about this, though. If you had to name all the top 2 guards of all time that wasn't in Jordan era.
Take away a person who had the scorers title, MVP, and won Defensive Player of the Year.
LeBron did it too.
Not in one season.
Maybe not in one season, but he's done it over a course of
not in the same
20 year.
I'm just saying that's my deal right there. That's my breaker right there. Jordan is the GOAT. Jordan had this. If you paid attention, well, obviously because I grew up in Chicago, you watch the Bulls, you see how he affected the game, and you seen when it was needed, how he just turned that dial up. And it was like, it was felt. You just knew something spectacular was
happening.
Happening.
A different mentality.
But we not gonna take, and because the era, you can't compare the eras. I always say you can't compare the eras because there's always evolution.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we started the show off talking about how athletic these young men are. These young dudes are so athletic nowadays that you want to get, if you was athletic like that back when you was growing up, you was an anomaly.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Now you finding that consistently.
But you making my point though. Because Jordan wasn't playing against the athleticism.
You can't, but it
LeBron
was,
played
the
in 3 different
physicality
eras.
was different, bro. The physicality was so much different when Jordan was playing. You can hand check,
when
you can push.
When did the mentality change? When did the physicality of NBA change for, like, far as you as a viewer?
You mean
like what
as
year?
far as
like what era you figure, like the 90s?
No, it was 2000s.
What part? 2001, 2010s?
It started like the early 2000s. I can't give you the exact like time.
LeBron played in all the eras though.
Yeah, but he didn't play in the 90s, bro.
He didn't play in the 90s. They was hacking. That's not skill.
But imagine being hacked and still got to go out there and you putting up 30.
That's what I'm saying.
You still putting up 30.
Gonna get him a second spot all day.
And then we talk about this. We talk about the evolution and all these things like. Man, they didn't have the technology for injuries that they have now, where a guy can come back to 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when they was getting meniscus tears or MCLs. Man, them dudes was out for the season. You know,
they was playing with that shit. But I ain't gonna hold you. They was playing.
They played through it. But what I'm saying is
they'll drink a 40 and just hop out there.
Now these guys, guys, you know what I'm saying, can bounce back much sooner. It's just so many different things that play. That you know you can't really compare, but it's subjective. You know what I'm saying? It's about who affected you. Just like I even talk, like Nas is my favorite rapper.
That's where I was about to go. I was about to go with top 5.
Nas is my favorite
I'm glad
rapper
that was a good segue because that was my next question. But I didn't know how to say it.
Favorite MC of all time, like
top 5 all time rappers.
He's always gonna be my number one because his music was relatable to me, and if he was like an uncle that was hollering at me, you know what I'm saying, through the tunes, you know, and his music has a a vibration that I can always kind of like, it's nostalgic. I can go back when I was, when I first ripped that CD up to play it. You know what I'm saying? Even though, I mean, it's some hard artists back in those times, but it's relatable, and it's something that kind of like pulled me and attracted me in some sort of way. You know what I'm saying? The way he carried himself. I always kind of wanted to carry myself like that, just, stoic and just suave, So it's just certain things, that connect with you as a person. That that's why
what
I
art
said,
is.
So that's why I'd be like, it's subjective. You know what I'm saying? We can argue all day long, but it's not gonna change the feeling I had.
No,
you know
of
what I'm
course
saying?
not.
No, I'm not talking about us. I'm just talking about in general, the public. Like everybody, you'll see guys getting into heated battles and want to fight.
Silly.
You like,
that's
hey, bro,
silly.
like, dog, he's my guy. I rock with him. That's why I rolling. You know what I'm saying? Don't suppress that because you think differently. So.
I think when conversations go heated is different. But just having a conversation. We spend our time in barbershops, bars.
Yeah.
And, we gotta talk about something. We ain't talking about women. We ain't talking about money. Let's talk about some fun shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So at the end of the day, we gotta talk about the rappers. I mean, you got Nas as your one. Bro.
Nas is my one. Obviously Jay. You would take a Jay in that sense. Who's my three that I like listening to? Who I still go back to and listen to. I mean, it's a toss up between Biggie and Pac kind of thing. You know what I mean? Now it's funny. I listen to it obviously with a much mature ear, so it's a lot of this stuff is a little too hard for my liking, and in a sense because I'm more of a jazz guy now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or I don't even listen to music much at all unless I'm working out. But who would be at those bottom tiers who really kind of affected me or had me kind of like jumping up. I listened to a lot of wrong. Like I used to listen to 3 6 Mafia, you know what I'm saying, like heavy, and it was like, man, they was not talking about anything that a kid needed to listen to at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, I really, I mean, if I can transfer a little bit, like Kendrick is up there for me.
Kendrick is definitely dope.
Kendrick is up there for me, man. Just because his body of work is relatable. It's where I'm at, in life as well, as far as, and somebody who's like not afraid to have the conversations about what we kind of going through and how we need to like push forward in such a different light. Like I'm more of a substance guy now.
Gotcha.
Like, I need to hear something that's going to ignite, some inspiration or motivation, but also tell, because that's my motive. My motive is as an actor is to use my platform for good, right? My motive is to be able to show that the good guys are here. You know what I mean? And this is how you sustain, but also you use your platform for a better good. Yeah, I'm gonna make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm not gonna do everything right or to anybody else liking, but we gotta have these uncomfortable conversations because we can keep making excuses that we grew up in this environment and this is what we know and that's all we know. But once we do know differently, do we continue to keep preaching?
I agree.
Keep that same stuff going.
Yeah, we can't use that as a scapegoat forever.
Yeah,
because now, like we was talking before we started the actual interview, and we was talking about how the coaches that was coaching us was just teaching from what they know.
Yeah.
But now it's just so much information for us to have and use and build.
Yeah.
It's almost mind-boggling that we still think like we gotta work around it. Treat each other the way we treat each other, talk the way we talk, the mindset that we have towards each other, and not just the black community, just people in general.
Just people in general, society,
your society in general.
That's
why we got Score Society. If you want to start to build more
society, man,
elite-minded, positive conversations to spark good ideas.
Yeah.
Good relationships amongst each other.
For sure.
Because that's what I think we need. And it's crazy that we have all this information, but somehow we find the negative to use the information.
Man, dog, I when I say what you're saying is like something that I think about all the time, or I pray on, or I have conversations about, and that's what sparked. I don't know if I told you, but I'm writing a book. I got a book with 2 of my best friends, man, called 40 Lessons for Our Sons. And it's a tool to be able to pass down the wisdom that we all grew up in, single mom households, and we didn't really have male guidance that was like right there with us and kind of showing us how to navigate the world, or giving us the character that we've now been able to have tattooed to our spirit in the sense of how we move and how we treat others, in these things. And I think, I talked to my nephew about this. I told him that, society and what's kind of like the masses is not going to give you the necessities, the thing that you need as far as to grow, as a person. Now you can try to understand it and just try to, see it from a level standpoint.
Right.
But I tell him is, when you see everybody going somewhere or there is popular, go the opposite way. And it's okay to go the opposite way. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Because society isn't going to support the things that we as human beings need in our lives for peace, for uplifting, for empowering, for giving each other that. And it's easy. It's easy to look at the negative. It's easy to open up the gram and look at the stuff that's BS because you don't have to process it.
Right.
But when you have to read or look at something that you have to process, and it may not be instant processing. Like, you're not going to read it and see it and be able to process it immediately. It turns you off.
Right.
Nas said this best. This is one of my favorite lines. People fear what they don't understand, hate what they can't conquer. Guess it's just inferior man.
Facts. Yeah.
Became a monster. Like that. That line for me has always been like, I'm like, oh my God. So when people don't understand stuff, they shun it. They shun it, man. We shun it, man. It's messed up how we move, and most of the time it's from adults who actually know, but they just rather not go through it because it's difficult.
Right.
All the things that we need to do and what we want to do it's a difficult channel. It's gonna take you through difficult times, bro. But if it's worth it, boom. Like, I always say this too, and it's hard to understand, but everything will work out in your greater good.
Absolutely.
But when you're going through it, man, it's so tough. And when other parts where you could just be like, I'm gonna just take the easy route out and it's available. Most of the time, these, 9 times out of 10, most people take it.
Right.
But when when you got a chance to be like, all right, I just gotta go through the thick of this, man, and figure this out, because I know a clock is, right. A broke clock is right twice a day. Like, I'm gonna be all right. Like, I'm gonna be all right too. Like, I gotta believe that.
Yeah.
And what I speak to the kids is, I'm like, yo, if you thinking positive, what do you think you're gonna get out of that? If you're thinking negative, what you think you're gonna get out of that?
Absolutely.
Man, bro, I'm gonna just go ahead and think positive. Then I'm gonna I gotta figure this thing out, man. You know what I'm saying? And society don't, what we need and what we want, society doesn't support it.
Well, Score Society does.
Yeah, but what I'm,
I'm joking.
The masses society,
right,
and,
I
don't want to talk too much about politics and stuff like that, but if we look at we look at how things are going right now, drug use is at an all-time high, suicide is at an all-time high, stress, depression is at an all-time high. Like, we when we talk about mental, all these things at an all-time high. But what is it there to support it? What are we doing to support it? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing as a society to be like, nah, man, you know what, bro? It's okay. Like, man, I understand you, man. I understand that. We take information or negative information about each other, and we pour it. We pour it on each other, man. We make sure that everybody sees it. Hey, look, he's a guy that, we make fun of each other, bro. We make fun of each other to get clicks or clickbaits or laughs or whatever the case may be, and all those things are short-lived. It's like, come on, man. I want longevity. Absolutely. I want longevity in anything that I'm doing, and I know if you do it the right way, or you do it with a sense of some integrity, you know what I'm saying, and some character, it'll sustain, man. Because like I said, the connection, you can't take that away from me.
Yeah.
If I'm showing up consistently how I say I am, and I'm showing up that way, what somebody else say shouldn't take that away, because you know the feeling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know the feeling, man. But I get into these state of minds, bro, where I just get I just get to thinking, dog.
Yeah,
I think
bro.
about, you know, how I can, you know, cut those things in half and try to figure out, you know, a way to ignite something that people enjoy.
Well, you definitely doing it. Conversations like this,
Yeah.
you know, was started. You know,
Yeah.
building dialogue amongst each other.
Yeah.
Putting these conversations out and seeing more of it would change. I think will start to change the mindsets of people. You just gotta. I got a thing right now called brainwash to think elite. Right. So just exactly what you gotta do. You gotta constantly see positivity.
Yeah.
Listen to people talk positive. Listen to people's stories. Listen to people's journey, and your journey is very unique.
Yeah.
Coming from where you come from, getting through your challenges, and being the person you are today. Very successful.
Thank you.
Doing a great job as a father, obviously.
Thank you, brother.
Acting on your goals and dreams with BAM. You got a book coming out. You got the show Cross. You starting the show Cross. It's coming out November 14th.
Yep.
Right?
First season.
Anything before we wrap up? Anything else that we should know? We should look for from you coming up?
Those are the top three things. Like acting, that's not stopping. You know, support me any way you can. 'Cause,
Right.
you know, I speak for the good guys and I represent the good guys. The program BAM is, you know, it's coming.
Right.
Like, you know, it's really coming, man. And I mean that. I mean that with all due respect. Like, you know, I'm not doing anything new under the sun, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But the passion and how it's led in the community that I'm involved in and what I'm building, because it's not about me. It's about these kids.
Absolutely. Where can they find you as far as the program? Like where can they find information on it?
It is under BAM_basketball and mentorship.
And where can they find you?
At BAM Hall on all platforms. BAMHALL, man. It's you know, I'm gonna say it's one me. It's one me. And it's not hard to find me, man. It's peace.
Listen, bro,
Peace
I appreciate
and power
you.
here, baby.
Listen, I appreciate you. The stories, the insight, and definitely the passion behind the stories.
Thank
too.
you, Ken.
Because I can hear it. I can hear that you doing everything with a purpose.
Yes.
You know, I can understand that you also want to share your journey. And I think your journey is helpful. I think it's going to be helpful definitely from people, not only who look like us, but everyone. And especially coming from Chicago.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Appreciate you.
For sure.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you,
time. There you have it. There's another show for Score Society. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share. Make sure you comment. Let us know what you think. Until next time, let's continue to think elite and together. Welcome to Score Society.
Yes, sir.